One of the most powerful themes in the entire story of Bleach is the idea of fearing the unknown, fearing fate itself. And for mortals, this idea of fate coincides with the idea of death, because fate leads to death. But for those who think that Bleach does not have a very strong thematic structure, or that it lacks depth, to them I say that Bleach introduced and concluded its very strong theme with absolute brilliance. In fact, to grasp this idea, all you have to look at is the beginning of Bleach and the end. I take it many of you have never heard about Bleach Chapter 0, Side A and Side B, which gave us a glimpse into the lives of Ichigo and Rukia before they met, events which occurred before Chapter 1 of Bleach. It was here that we were introduced to a concept, the Millstone, which is typically used to grind and press grain. But the symbol of the millstone is used as a representation for fate itself. Human beings or mortals are crushed under the wheels of fate, destined to be devoured by it in the conclusive act of death. And as they lack the ability to see their fate, to see their death, Kubo started the story with the idea that we fear that which we cannot see. And the action which our protagonist Ichigo derived from this was that he required a blade strong enough and strength enough to shatter fate. And Chapter 1 followed this concept, and so fell the Sword of Fate, where Ichigo, who wished for the power to shatter fate, began to wield a blade which was bound to the theme of shattering fate. But there is still much more to this great devourer, a relationship with the mortals who end up being devoured. In Rukia's poem, we learn that mortals are the ones responsible for turning the wheels of fate. This very concept is revisited in Bleach's conclusion, where we learn that Ichigo, who wielded the blade of fate, could in fact interfere with the future. But if you revisit the very theme from Chapter 1, fearing that which cannot be seen, and the theme from Chapter 0 that mortals can in fact turn the wheels of fate, Yhwach's words will make a lot more sense to you. Ichigo can turn the wheels of fate because he can jump from one future to the other, like hopping between grains of sand. However, he does so blindly, he cannot see the future. But that was not enough to instill fear in Ichigo, as the hero would go on to unleash his Bankai. You see, Ichigo's true Bankai, he and his Zanpakuto, they are one. They are the Blade of Fate. Thus, Yhwach's action of breaking Tensa Zangetsu was an act to break Ichigo as well, to shatter the Blade of Fate. Yhwach could feel the fears of the souls which returned to him, and so he, representing the very embodiment of that fear, had the objective to remove that fear from the universe. Yhwach, the ultimate antagonist, was the embodiment of both fear and the power of fate. He instills fear of the unknown by threatening to act in the future. I will find your happiest moments in the future, and at those moments I will bring death upon you. So from this moment onwards, live in fear of impending death. You see, despite having the power to survey the future, Yhwach was the embodiment of fear. As a result, he uses power to distance himself from death as much as possible. But the rotator will come full circle, and the one who threatens to cut down the future will be cut down by the Sword of Fate. Narratively, this is why Ichigo, who wished for the blade and strength to shatter fate, had to be the one to defeat Yhwach. The terrifying concept of fate, of death, symbolized by the millstone, embodied by Yhwach and his goal to reset the cosmos, was cut apart by the Sword of Fate. The flaws in Yhwach's philosophy were revealed, a verbal reminder of the initial and conclusive theme of Bleach. The solution for that fear of the unknown is not the absence of death, but courage itself. It started in Chapter 1 with the theme of fear and resolved its own thematic conflict in Chapter 686, the stories of brave or courage.
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ。仕方ないっすね。挽回観音開き紅姫改め。